Hello. This is another episode of HeyTim Podcast, and today I'm recording outside. Can you imagine? I actually wanted to record outside for some while, and I decided to try today. Well, why not? And since today is such good weather, as you can see, it's quite warm. I would say it's rather almost hot. Well, it's not hot, but it's warm, and it's around 24 degrees, and it's really nice and welcoming to stay here. So I welcome you to sit and listen or watch if you watch on YouTube, so you can appreciate the sun that I have on my background. If you listen, you can just imagine where I am, because I am in Spain. I am in the region of Barcelona, in city of Sabadell. This is the park of Catalonia, the Parc de Catalunya, as many things are named here in Catalonia, since it's Catalonia. And it's quite pretty here. There are better spots in this park, but I chose this one because it's rather quiet one, and there are some kids playing there, they're screaming. I don't think you want it. Oh my god. I don't think you want some kids in this audio. Today I want to talk about how to study on your own, or exactly what you need to start doing it, or how to continue, how not to fail, what to do. Well, without further ado, let's start. So first thing, I want to say that you need motivation. By motivation, I think you need a real goal, not just motivation that, I want to learn language, or I need to learn. I need to learn. Why? Because everyone learns it, or because everyone speaks English, so I need English, or because for work, or because I think in the future I will have better opportunities. No, that's not a good approach. You need to set a real goal, then you will succeed. What I mean by real goal? So it can be moving to another country. Yeah, that's a real goal. Yeah, I want to move to another country, whether it's English-speaking country, non-English-speaking country, or Spanish-speaking country. What language do I need to learn to go there? What level do I need to get to be able to communicate there with people? Yeah. Or do I want to apply for university? Which university? What language do I need for this university? What level do I need for this university? Or maybe I just want to read books in original or watch films in original, which is also an option, and why not? You can also have this as a goal. Depending on your goal, your approach may be different. The amount of time you spend on learning also different, and intensity that you do your studies also different. Yeah, so to succeed, you need some goal. Yeah, that you set the goal, and then you go to it. Yeah? You stick to the plan, and you go with this goal. So when we have our goal, what do we need next? Second, we need discipline, because without discipline, you fail. Everyone fails. We need discipline I think in almost everything. It's the same if we talk about physical exercise, or whether it's mental exercise, like learning the language or learning any other skill. We need discipline. We need to do it continuously. And language learning, it's not a skill you can acquire in a week. It's not a skill you can acquire even in a month. Even if you're a genius, and I don't doubt you are, but even if you're a genius, you still need at least half a year, at least a year, to be able to speak, to be able to understand the language, to reach B2, BC1 level. If you really stick to your plan and you do it consistently, yes, in a year you can reach B2, C1. Well, up to you and up to your skill. Yeah, how well you remember things, how committed you are to the goal. So without further ado, yeah, what about discipline? So Tim, you said discipline. What do you mean by discipline? By discipline, I mean that you decide when you study. And these days, these hours, you study. If you decide, for example, that on Monday and Thursday, I study from 1 to 2, I study English or I study Spanish. So in those hours, you sit and you study Spanish or English or whatever language you study. And if you miss it, you study it later, next day, yeah, because you missed your day, or another hour because you missed your hour. And if you still miss it, it's okay if it's one time, but if it's 2, 3 times, then you don't have discipline, then you fail. We don't want to fail, we don't want to be stressed. So we need to be strict, and we need to stick to our discipline. Well, this is the way. The third thing I want to mention, and that consistency over intensity. We don't want long sessions of like 5 hours of Spanish or Japanese learning once a week or once in 2 weeks. We want 1 hour each day, 2, 3 times a week. Or if you can't spend an hour, well, 15 minutes, yeah, but 15 minutes, to be honest, it's too little in my opinion, but it's still better if you learn for 15 minutes every day than 1 hour once a week. 1 hour once a week, it's almost nothing. You can't learn anything, really. You can't progress with 1 hour. If you have a tutor and you have a lesson 1 hour in a week, it's almost useless. It's not bad, it's okay, yeah, you kind of progress very slowly, but you need to do something apart of that. You need to learn, you need to listen, you need to watch films, read books, articles, at least do something, practice this language, yeah, otherwise you won't progress. Next thing I want to mention is good study materials. And what do I mean by good study materials? I actually mean to find a study book. I'm, yes, maybe a little bit old school in this regard. I believe in study books. Not in all of them. There are many and not very good ones. They are sometimes stupid. They sometimes too many exercises or too much speaking, which is also not good for you if you study on your own. It's not good for you because you can't practice speaking that much. And it's not that good quality speaking actually in those study books. So the study book you need that there would be well explained grammar. You need there some exercises, some reading, some listenings. That's very important, these listenings in your study book. Then maybe some speaking. You can try to practice on your own and you won't be crazy. Yeah, you can talk to yourself, imagine someone and you can talk to this someone. Or these days you can even talk to ChatGPT or Gemini or whatever AI you use. Just talk with them, discuss this topic you learned in study book, and do exercises in your workbook if you have it. If you don't, find some exercises online or also ask ChatGPT, please generate these exercises on this particular grammar that I can practice. And then you stick to it. And here you go, finished your study book, you learned some language, and you get your level. Well, and that is almost it. It's as simple as that. You just need to start doing it and continue doing it. And you could think, why listen to me? I have some experience. I'm an English teacher and I've been teaching for almost 5 years now. So I see how people progress how much time they spend with the language, and how fast they progress depends on amount of time they spend with the language, depends on their interest, if they like it or not, on their age, and so on. There are many attributes to that, but the main thing is, well, actually, you need to like it, and second, you need to stick to your plan. Yeah, you need to actually learn it. I don't believe, some people say, oh, I can't learn, I just can't remember this is stupid language, I just can't do that. I just don't believe that if they study for 3-4 hours every week for, let's say, a year and they don't progress, don't believe in that. They do something wrong, or they lie. Yeah, they don't actually study. They may do 5 minutes Duolingo every week, but it's not studying, it's playing vocabulary game. And it's not even very good vocabulary game, but well, let's not talk about this. I want to give you some advice. I want to give you 4 tips which personally helped me to stay focused and continue my studies. First one, you need to use language ASAP, as soon as possible. If you don't use it, you lose it. Even if you have good level, you still need to practice. If you don't practice, bye bye, there is no language, you can't hold it for eternity. Even your native language, for example, I'm a native Russian speaker, and if I don't practice it for a long time, I don't, for example, speak or read or watch something, I struggle with some vocabulary, I struggle with some phrases, I just can't remember them, or how was it in Russian? I don't remember this word, I don't remember that phrase, I know it's in English, I know it in Spanish, I don't know it's in Russian, and I'm a native speaker. Oh my God! That's because I'm not practicing enough. But well, when you learn many languages, this is actually a problem that you can't practice them enough, or you don't have time to practice all of them. Another tip is do not expect results soon. Why? Because you won't have them. Learning language, as I told you already, is a long process, and you need to cherish small goals, small wins. For example, you can cherish something like, oh, I finished a chapter. Well done, team. Well done. Let's go. Let's study next chapter. Oh, I finished this study book. Yay! Let's celebrate it. I finished this study book. So celebrating these small things is actually helps you to improve and stay intact. Yes, stay learning and focused. Next advice that I have for you is make it a ritual and set everything as you like. I don't know, maybe a clear table, maybe a cup of coffee or tea, for example. It works for me. I usually pour some coffee and it stays there in a cup of coffee. I sip occasionally. I do not drink it fully. I sip occasionally, and I like this vibe. I have a clean table, there is a cup of coffee, maybe some aroma stick with some aroma you like, maybe some background music if you like it, yeah, some cello playing or hardcore or whatever music you like, not too loud that you don't want to be distracted. And that's it. You have your settings, and every time when it's your time, you just do your settings and then you start studying. Yeah, that's, you have your ritual and it becomes a habit. And since you have a habit, you do it regularly, and that's what we need. We need to do it regularly. Well, and that's actually it. That's all I wanted to say today. That's rather a short episode. I just wanted actually to test this microphone. I wanted to test its recording outside, and also to give you a tip how to study on your own. It doesn't really matter which language you want to study. If you want to continue with English, if you want to study German, if you want to study Spanish, you just need to have some plan and you need to stick to it, like in everything in life. Well, and if you like the content, please consider like and subscribe. And if you didn't like the content, well, you can leave a dislike. It's also okay. Have a great day. Have a great journey in your learning. Good luck. See you in the next episode. Bye bye.